Hello and welcome back to our amazing podcast, Life Well Booked. You have your host, Britt and Stef,
Hi, good morning.
and we are so happy to have you here again with us.
Yes.
And today we're going to be talking about handling problem guests, damages, disputes, and difficult situations. These are the pieces that most property managers don't want to talk about. We hope they don't happen. They happen. But it's just how you handle it and the processes to handling it, which is the most important thing. So that's what we're here to talk about today. Rip the little Band-Aid off and talk about the thing that scares all of us property management owners and property management companies, because it's a matter of time and when, if, or how.
It's true. You make a good point. I think it's probably the number one thing that the owners are worried about too.
Oh, absolutely.
They're just afraid that people are going to do stuff to their house, or they're just going to do stuff.
Yeah,
And, I tell them all the time, to be honest with you, Brett, it's a calculated risk.
it is.
Look, it doesn't happen on every guest. It doesn't happen very often. But you know what? Anything can happen.
Yeah.
If you want nothing to happen and you want to worry like that, then you should lock your door and not do this. Is not the right business for you.
It's the truth. So bad guests do happen,
Yep.
but it's about how to handle it without losing your cool,
Yep.
losing your rating, and losing your mind.
True that.
Because we know that we can literally spin in circles sometimes with some guest and what has
for
gone
sure.
on and trying to handle those situations. So let's talk about that today.
Okay.
Let's jump into today's episode. And you've been in this whole entire process for such a long time, and you have seen some of the bad guest
Bad, ugly.
happenings of life. And so it's not just about once something is damaged, right? It's now how do you handle it? It's how do you now put that guest in the right light for the next property manager or the next owner to be able to accept their booking. So writing a tactful review about that person, back to them, showing
Super
like,
important.
hey, thank you for choosing our place, but, blah, 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 blah. And then also talking about how sometimes people will just leave bad reviews because they got disgruntled about something that we decided to say, hey, look, no, you did do this, or you did damage that.
Or they're just mad people.
There's
just some people that are a little bit miserable.
This is true.
It does happen. I think there's, I wanted to say, I think there's kind of two different things going on here. Right? One is, bad guest, damaged house. You didn't hear from them necessarily. They paid, everything, all the normal things. They had decent reviews. We'll discuss, but then damage happens. So that's
Right.
one kind of category. The other kind of category is bad guest, payment problems, just abusive to team. That can happen.
Oh, yeah.
Just miserable people that want to be miserable in a review or miserable with you. And so there's sort of two different things going on. So you have to handle them both with tact, but
Right.
It is different.
There's two different kind of bad guests.
I guess you could have a combo too.
You
could have the angry people that do damage. That makes it, I guess, really a trifecta of problems. But typically they fall into those.
And it's funny is like in our recent team meeting, we just had the conversation as a team of, hey guys, once there's been an escalation due to a guest or something going on at a property, here is the protocol of how we're going to handle it. And you and Brendan have now, placed some protocols in place for us as the team members is like, hey, if we're having a time with a guest or there's something happening that is now quickly starting to spin out of our realm or our control, then it's like, hey, these are now the steps and the protocols. And those are so important because it's like, as team members on the team, we want to do everything we possibly can to help keep you guys out of the loop because you're busy doing other things. But then it's like, as a team member, is like, hey, we do have to realize that at some point,
this is not okay.
We have to hit our eject button and say, okay, you know what? It's time to pass this on to the higher uppers because you guys are going to be able to put the guest in the right place that needs to happen without us looking like bad team members, right? And getting like the bad reviews or whatnot.
No, you don't want that. And I think every owner that's thinking about doing it themselves or every property manager needs an escalation protocol.
Right.
Right. So we have great team members who are nothing but gracious and filled with hospitality, but you can tell pretty early on if someone's going to be a difficult guest. It's harder to tell if they do damages, obviously, until they leave.
Absolutely.
But you can sort of see indicators of people that are going to be difficult guests from the get. So
correct.
The good news is our team members are on the front line, and so they are talking with these people all the time. They sometimes try and take it as far as they can because they don't want to trouble us or escalate.
Right. Yeah.
But the truth is that's what we talked about is everybody, whether you're an owner or a property manager, you need to have an escalation process so that there's somewhere else for the complaint to go besides just with your team member.
Right.
So somebody else feels, empowered to fix it, whatever.
Well, and you can get an outside, once you start spinning with a guest and you feel bad as being on the team or, handling the guest situation, you feel bad that they're having a bad time. And they might be having a bad time because it's a self-conflicted bad time, or it might just, things really did just go haywire and
they couldn't
help it. No one could really help it. It just happened. And so it's like, as the team member, you want them to have the best experience. So you start feeling bad, but you get sucked into the cycle and it's like, hey, I can't help you any further. Like I can't get out. So I need an upward view of what this whole situation and how do we work out of this.
And then sometimes fresh eyes help. The great news for us is we really empower our team members to make good decisions, offer a discount when necessary or send a gift basket or whatever is necessary. But there are those ones that are like, look, I got to back out of this. I'm going to save my own emotional
turmoil.
Yes, exactly. My own mental health at this point. And then we're going to move on to somebody else. So that's when Brendan and myself at our company step in, one or the other or both, depending. And even sometimes Brendan and I have a hard time with a guest and we have to pass it to each other. I mean, it can happen all directions.
It's so funny was when I was on the phones in the concierge, a couple of times people would be, complaining or whatnot and just like trying to help them. And Brendan would jump in and Brendan saying the same thing I'm saying. And they're like, oh, well, I want to talk to the manager. And then Brendan's like, I am the manager. And so
that always gets them. Because we do, obviously, we jump in sometimes too, or we answer.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're actually responsible for doing some of the concierge stuff overnight and all that. So we end up being on the front line. But generally, we can speak as the obviously the owners of the business and stuff like that. Good news for us is that we're all licensed realtors and we have actually a broker that we work for. So we even have one further place of escalation when necessary. So I like that process and I think it's important for everybody.
I do too. So with damages, with disputes, we obviously have a documentation process in play. What does that process look like? How did you really come across how that process of documentation is going to happen? Like, how do you get that over to the cleaners to saying, hey, these are the important things that we need to be looking for or we need to document?
So one thing that's really important on the damage side is our policy is that we have at least 2 sets of eyes on every turnover before we check in a new guest. Sometimes we even have 3 sets of eyes, depending on the timing. So this is sort of how we handle that protocol. Okay. We create housekeeping inspection reports. And the reports they're pretty basic. How's the bedroom? How's this? How's that? How are the keys all there? Blah, blah, blah. But the housekeepers are required to add pictures and answer all the questions and or back it up with facts.
Okay.
That also includes any kind of damages. So they're kind of the first line of defense. So if the sheets are ruined or the couch has a big rip in it, whatever the issue is, they're sort of the first line of defense in reporting those items. Again, it's part of the housekeeping inspection report, but it's also, we create what we call work orders for damages as well. And those the housekeepers put into our system so everybody's aware of what's going on. We also have a protocol for housekeepers called Red Alert. And I don't know if everyone has this, but Red Alert is, look, this isn't just a broken lamp. This is something a little bit more serious. And that could just be a bigger item that's ruined. Listen, we've had a pool table get broken down before, stuff like that. It could be a bigger item. And also could be just the whole house has had an experience that is not that pleasant.
Correct.
And so we call those red alert houses. So they will mark them as red alerts as well. That, for our world, automatically triggers those escalation protocols to Brendan and myself.
Okay.
So immediately red alert houses, we have to go, this is not normal. Whatever the situation is, better put eyes on it.
Right.
Right. So they're responsible for documenting everything with video and pictures so that we have everything that we need so that we can recover funds or whatever we're going to do. After that process happens, whether it's a red alert or not, we have an inspector that goes behind the housekeepers. Their job is to make sure the housekeepers did a good job, but their job is also to make sure they check for damages also.
Oh, okay.
So 2 sets of eyes on that process. So, listen, if that lamp is, or the housekeepers indicated that something's going on, they'll go check that item and make sure that that's really what's happening, if there needs to be additional photos or anything. And they too have an inspector report that they are required to fill out. So it's a little bit different set of questioning.
Okay.
And so we sort of have this 2 reports on everything.
Okay.
Most importantly, to be honest, is the housekeepers. They're the ones on the front line seeing the stained sheets, and they need to move on and get that stuff tossed and get new stuff put in. So we have to have good pictures.
Right.
By the time the inspector gets there, all of that is resolved. But the inspector has yet another set of eyes checking that clean, but also checking for damages. So that's how we handle it. And then again, we escalate. We have a housekeeping manager. Brendan and myself check homes as well. So if it's not a same day turn, same days are harder,
Right.
short amount of time to clean and inspect. But if it's not a same day, often the housekeeping manager, myself, or Brendan will be in an area. We'll put a 3rd set of eyes on the house too. So that's how we handle damages, if you will.
So that is a very, very thorough process on if a guest damages the house or damages something, the ability for the guest to come back to us and say, "Oh, you're lying," is a very
It's a small percentage.
Small, because it's like, hey, we've got lots of documentation here. And so then that's where we're going to follow into the next is like, how do you go about doing the next step? So now you've got this damage. Now you got this documentation, and either it's on VRBO or it's on Airbnb.
Or it's on us. Or
Right.
it's booked through us, or it's booked through another site. It could be anywhere. The main important determiner, Britt, is whether it's guest damage and it is accidental, or it is guest damage and it is malicious. And it does matter. If you break the entire pool table, it's malicious. You shouldn't have been on top of the pool table or whatever you were doing. Like that to us
Right.
is not. And somebody breaking a wine glass or even a lamp topples over, it's totally an
Right.
accident, right? And so things happen, and we're happy to do that. At Elite Vacation Rentals, we charge every guest a damage waiver.
Okay.
And the damage waiver covers them and us and everybody up to $3,000 worth of damage per visit. So sheets are messed up. The couch needs to be cleaned, whatever. Even the pool table is fully broken. It's not really the owner's fault.
Correct. Yeah.
So we take the damage waiver and we actually pay for those items to make sure that we don't get a no from all of the outside websites. You mentioned VRBO and Airbnb and Booking.com, and they all have a different program.
They sure do. And a different process to those.
But what we do for our owners is we make sure that we say yes to them, get the stuff replaced, get it handled, get the house brought right back to where it was when the owners turned it over to us immediately. There's no to the owner. There's no you have to. There's nothing.
Back and forth, nothing.
Nothing. There's just a yes to the owners, and we take care of it. On the back end, we're the ones that are trying to get our money back from the Airbnb air cover you've probably heard of. VRBO has a different process, which is they buy insurance.
Right.
And so then the guest actually has to claim through the insurance. It's a little bit different. So they all behave a little differently, but that's sort of how we handle it, which is much different than most companies.
Yeah, I was just going to say, most companies that you come across in property management don't handle it that way. And so that's what really keeps us on the elite side of things is like we really do shine with our name. Is now every guest or homeowner wouldn't know this until they started working with us. And the guests don't care about that. is the homeowners. Once the homeowners start hearing what we do and what we provide and those things, it's like, oh, wait, that's different than the other companies I've spoken with, or that is something that I can get behind because they're willing to back me as a homeowner and protect my
typically other
home.
companies will say, oh, your sheets are ruined. We need you to buy new ones.
Correct.
Typically they say, oh, your sheets are ruined. We'll ask Airbnb if they're going to pay for your sheets. And if Airbnb says no, which by the way, they do every single time, at least 10 times before you get them to say yes.
Right.
So it's quite a process. But if in fact, then they have to accept the answer from Airbnb. In our world, we don't have to accept the answer. We will continue to fight the good fight for our own damage waiver.
Right, exactly.
Kitty, if you will, but we do self-insure here.
So if you're looking for a property management company,
way different here in Arizona.
You need to come check it out. If you're in Arizona, you need to reach out to us and you need to just have the conversation.
I do think that the owners appreciate it.
I think so too. And you need to just have the conversation with us. And I know this is on a different episode of is property manage, like having a property manager, is it worth it? And how it really is really worth it, even though there is a, there's a commission fee, there's a fee within, it for our services, but it's those services help protect you at such a high level.
Yep.
And it really does save you money on the back end.
And if you were self-managing, I guess you could rely just on the housekeepers, to be able to report things. But we have many people in the homes with eyes too. Even our pool professionals and our landscapers will tell us things that are going on the outside and all that.
Oh, yeah.
We have a large team of people that are sort of watching over the house. I'll give you an example of some small things though that don't go perfectly. We just had an owner check into his house and he was a little bit disgruntled because he had his kitchen scissors were missing from the knife block. And he had a small rug in front of his washer that seemed to be missing. Now, that could be a guest missed it. That could be a housekeeper said it was nasty and threw it away. I don't know. But those two items. Is it a perfect science? My point is no. So did we immediately buy him his kitchen scissors and get him a little rug for in front of his? Of course we did.
Right, correct.
So listen, the owners know best what's in their house at all times. Truth is, but we're pretty darn good.
Yeah, I agree. And that's one thing I do like is that our cleaners have the ability to get rid of something if it's nasty. Because how many times have we stayed at an Airbnb where you go in and you're like, has no one seen this place? Or has anyone not seen these bath mats or this or the towels? Like, is anyone not looking at this? Because if the cleaners are cleaning, they should have gotten rid of this probably about 20 times ago.
Yeah, we will never, ever, we will always back up our housekeeping teams.
Right.
And our inspector teams and our housekeeping manager team. We will always back them up because we have to have them making good decisions for our owners and our guests. And so even if it was maybe something we would have done a little bit differently or handled a little differently or spent the money on a little differently, so be it. Then there's just a training moment and you move on. But the initial reaction is thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for protecting our next visitor.
Threw it out a little prematurely, right? That's okay.
Okie doke.
I'd rather
have you do that.
I'd rather you thinking that it's maybe nasty than leaving it for our guests to then leave us a bad review saying these are nasty or this is nasty.
Marginal, not okay.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
That's how we do it.
Okay. So talking about responding to guests during their stay. And now these are the guests that are...
These are just the people that are not as happy in
highly
their life.
Charged emotionally.
Charged.
Yes, we can call them highly charged emotional human beings. And for some reason, within the first hour of them being at the property, they have found about 10 things that were wrong and they didn't like. And as we go back in our inspector pictures, we're realizing well, there's nothing visually wrong and what's going on here. But they're just mad, right?
They just want to be mad.
They just want to be mad.
They didn't book the right place. I mean, it had stairs and they didn't anticipate, even though it says it's on the second floor on the list.
They didn't read the descriptions.
All of those things happen. But it does set them off in the wrong pace. And another thing that does set people off is when they find one thing that's a matter. It could be the smallest thing. It could be, let's pretend like it's the kitchen scissors I just talked about. We don't have kitchen scissors. Okay. Then the list starts. Oh, we don't have kitchen scissors. Oh, did you notice that the little bath rug is missing? Oh, did you notice that the landscaping plant number 3 looks like it needs water? Whatever it is. The minute there's one thing, then there becomes a list, because now the guests are actually either angry or they're going to prove a point that there's some other things. Some people actually, in the nicest way, do it out of the goodness of their heart too, and they're trying to go, hey, we just want to make sure it's cool for the next people. But the list begins, and so this is what usually adds to the people that are a little bit disgruntled list.
Right. And so then this is where, like, the protocols, we had already talked about the protocols that you and Brendan have now put in play is, once the concierge team has worked with these guests and we're like trying to soothe them, we're trying to soothe them and like, hey, we'll have that fixed. We'll send out, housekeeping, or we'll send out maintenance.
DoorDash, whatever it is.
Like, what can I help you with? And let's get you happy and satisfied. And it's not. That's where you guys have put in play the next new steps is, no, now the escalation really does need to come to us because you guys are doing your jobs, but we need to be able to step in and take it to the next level and take you guys out of the emotional charge situation, and we'll take that on. Because, I mean, on the flip side of it, being on the phones, on the flip side of it, is those guests wear you down.
No, it's hard not to be emotional about it, too.
It's like you have to remind yourself at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it's a long day, and here you are on the phone with somebody that's yelling at you because
of their kitchen scissors.
Plant or the kitchen scissors, and you're like, why is this even a matter right now? It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right. Enjoy your vacation.
Why are we mad?
Right.
Like, what? And so, like, trying to, like, keep yourself at a place where it's like, I'm cool, I'm fine, don't ruin my day because I'm tired, But then realizing that these guests have spent a lot of money. They're probably just got there. So they've traveled.
And who knows what's going on in their life,
right?
And all of the above. And their kids are screaming at them.
Traveling is stressful. So they've traveled all day.
Mm-hmm.
They're tired. They haven't eaten yet. They're exhausted. They're dehydrated. So they're just like, I'm going to come at you at those kitchen scissors, And so having those protocols in place are super helpful, especially for like the concierge team to stay at a high level of execution and customer service, is because you don't want to be drugged down by this person. And then the next phone call is a nice person, but you're just like, what? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't even want to be on this phone right now.
Our concierge team in particular stays neutral.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the information. We're super sorry that happened. Let us rectify it right away. If it needs to be escalated, Brendan and I have to remind ourselves about that too. So I think one of the most important thing is not to be emotional.
Taking the emotion
you can't
out
take
of it.
Don't let the energy from the people that are disgruntled to your point, not ruin your day, but you have to not match their energy because it just turns out bad.
It's a cycle.
It's a cycle, right?
It's a cycle at that point.
So staying on top of the energy or staying above that and saying, let's talk about what's really going on with your vacation and how we can turn this around and have you enjoy it, and let me just take care of your stuff, that whatever your list is, and we'll be happy to handle that. But it is hard not to do that sometimes.
It is.
Because people anger you.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, what? And, I can definitely say over my 14 years that I've definitely engaged in a conversation or two that I shouldn't have let myself engage in.
It's true. I remember right before I stopped being on the phone, so I got a phone call from this lady because her pool wasn't as sparkling as the pool next door.
Which is owned by the same person.
Same person.
Same pool cleaner, same everything.
All of it. And I'm trying to, in a very kind way, without trying to make her feel bad about herself or feel bad about not knowing, is like, hey, do you see that pool? Do you see the surface that's on the bottom of the pool? That's a whole different surface that's on yours.
Right.
And there's a different color. And
two different houses.
The color changes the color of the water, right? So the water's not bad. It's just a different color because it's a different bottom surface. And I just remember going round and round with this lady, and I was like, I'm
out. At some point, you're like, I'm out.
Do you want me to drain the pool and have them come replaster the pool for you today? Like, let me ask DoorDash if they have that availability,
I think the worst place to ever get to, it's gotten too bad, or it has to happen on occasion, is I think it would be best if you just checked out.
Right.
Because it doesn't
right.
seem like you're going to be happy with any solution to whatever your issue is, be it small, larger, whatever. I think it might be best for you to check out. You never ever want to get it to that place because it's a terrible place to be. It hurts the owner, it hurts
Right.
revenue, it hurts everything, it hurts reviews, it hurts the whole process. But look, at the end of the day, there is an escalation process that says
Get out.
get out. This isn't the right
Right.
place for you.
I mean, it's true. But then it's funny. Then those guests will sometimes backpedal. And they're like,
Oh, you wanted me to leave now?
like you're actually trying to kick me out of here because you don't even care about my money anymore. And you don't even care about my stay here. Like, you actually want me out. Like, oh, shit,
Right.
I better behave.
Yeah, and that happens too.
Like,
and then
need
there
to,
could
like-
be apologies and
Right.
all kinds of things. So look, it's just not a place you want to get to ever. It happens every once in a while.
This is true.
And sometimes actually it is the right decision because it protects you against bad reviews.
Right.
It protects you about some other things that really it can drag the house down.
Right.
And it could be something that is your fault or it could be something that is really so minor that you can't even understand what's actually going on and why people are losing their minds.
Right. And you don't have time to give them therapy. So you're just like, hey, here we go. Here's the eject button. So we're going to go ahead and stop here.
But that's the worst case scenario. So
Right.
I don't recommend it.
I am really proud of our company is that we are so quick that if there's like something that did happen on our end,
Absolutely.
and it's like, hey, look, we screwed up. Like, we
sent
screwed up.
someone.
We'll
We sent-
somebody. It's like it's like if we know we've messed up, and it's like, oh crap, like we will do everything to mend that relationship with the guest to make them feel welcome, seen, heard, the whole thing.
I think actually DoorDash is a game changer for us in the past, however many years. But I can't tell you how many times, that coffee maker when you're trying to make coffee in the morning is just not ejecting coffee the way it's supposed to be. And honestly, within 30 minutes, you can have a new coffee maker right at their doorstep for them.
Right.
And we do that, quite often. It's also a hard thing. That's an example also of a hard thing to catch. Because the housekeepers and the inspectors aren't really making a cup of coffee.
Correct. They're not using the toaster.
Maybe don't know. And so, but that's an example of how quick we operate. And then most people are super happy with our response time. We get great communication things. So you can turn stuff around that starts out with I just really want to have my morning coffee. You can turn that around within 30 minutes typically.
Oh, I agree for sure. And then, so the next part of it is now the guest has come, we've dealt with them, we've helped, we've mitigated things. They're still here. They've ended their stay. Now we're moving into the review piece. Now they're getting the reminder, hey, please leave a review. How do we go about handling the reviews when it comes to somebody that has created havoc or chaos during their stay?
Well, we also have an escalation process for that. So typically we check in 5,000 or so guests per year.
Say that again. How many people do we check
in? About 5,000 reservations per year.
5,000. Yeah, she said that correctly. So if you're listening,
because out of the 5,000, literally there's 50 of them that are some kind of 1% is some kind of extra drama.
Right.
Okay. So mostly people come, go, stay, no problems, no problem, mama.
Right. It's really, it's pretty smooth.
Great reviews. Everything's fine. But we're in the public domain. So of course we're going to have some stuff, but the review process is also an escalation. So typically our guest service team and our concierge team responds to all of our typical reviews. It's really important that you respond to all the reviews.
Yes.
Because it matters that there's two-way responses and the websites give you some credit for that.
Yeah.
And you help the escalation of your listing, etc. So we make sure that we always do that. But they also know that when we have one of those red alert houses or those highly charged houses that got escalated in the first place, we hold those reviews off to the side. And typically Brennan and myself will respond to those personally so that we're writing something that's thoughtful, meaningful, but also really addresses what actually happened.
Yeah.
It's important, I think, for guests that are coming to book because who doesn't read the reviews? I read the reviews.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So you look through stuff and you see if there's patterns and, you can also tell if there's all 5-star reviews and there's one random 1-star review. Like, what's up with that? Like, most guests that are coming to book can somehow rationalize that either something really did happen or it's a one-off.
Right.
It's a one-off. So, but anyway, those crazy situations, we tend to write the reviews. So again, we can tell both sides of the story, because when you're reading the reviews, it's important for you to know what happened from the guest point of view, but also what happened from management's point of view.
Correct.
That's how we handle guest reviews, but it's important to respond to them all.
It is. And so it says the impact of 1 star across your portfolio can dilute some of the 5 stars, because 1 stars
Totally does.
really do like pull
It
you
drags
down.
you way down. It drags a house down. So obviously when you have a couple hundred rentals, you have 5,000 different reviews that you're dealing with, or some percentage of
Right.
that. Like obviously 100% of the people don't review, but there's a large percentage of them that do. So you're dealing with a lot of really good stuff. But you're right, that 1 star gets more diluted with more reviews.
Right.
However, on one specific house, it can be detrimental and it can be devastating to get one bad review, because it sticks out like a sore thumb on that one particular house.
It does.
So honestly, that is a huge problem. There are also some protocols that we have in place with account managers, because we do have quite a few properties that we have an Airbnb manager and a VRBO manager, and we have a Booking.com manager. We have some people like that are just different than the normal homeowner would have access to, just because we have a little bit bigger account.
Right.
Nothing crazy, but it allows us an escalation process as well to say,
Okay.
how do we get this review taken down? How do we get this review changed to be accurate to the situation? How do we, and so then there's a review process with the Airbnbs and VRBOs of the world about what was said, how it went down, and they'll side with either the guest or they'll side with management, the truth is, and then we will either have a change in that review. Sometimes they even take the reviews down.
Oh, wow. Okay.
A key one that they take the reviews down for is when people threaten their reviews.
Oh, okay.
So if you don't do this, I'm going to write you a bad review. That's a no-no in all of the websites. So
correct. Yeah.
That's a good example of, they won't even post reviews like that because they've threatened a review for compensation or a review for whatever it is they're trying to get out of the situation.
Right. Because guests know that
Right.
reviews are key in our world. And so it's like, hey, you're not giving me what I want. Hey, guess what? I'm going to give you a 1 star if you don't.
If you don't.
And it's like, oh, that's okay. Go ahead. Go for it, because there is a process for that. And thankfully, Airbnb, the VRBOs back us up in that, is like, we do not stand for that. That's not okay.
That's not okay. So we can generally prove that. And so that's an easy one. I'll also say, I know it's not totally about reviews, but this all plays into this kind of damage world or this bad guest world. A 1 star is actually less detrimental in some ways than a 3 star.
I know we've talked about the 3-star reviews before.
A 1 star is like, okay, it's some angry person or some awful thing happened or the boat didn't work or whatever
Right.
it is. Whatever it is, legit. Maybe legit, maybe not legit, but they're outliers.
Right.
3 stars are like, they're like kind of harder to make sense out of. Like, why did you give us a 3-star review? They're like, oh, we had a great time. 3 stars. We didn't like where the house was located. Like, can't change that. Never misrepresented where it was. In fact, have a pinpointed address right there. So
Right.
you should have known where that was. That's an example, though, of. So the 3 stars on even things like bad guests are more detrimental in a way because they seem more realistic, because they're not 5s, they're not 1s.
Mm-hmm.
They're like this middle meh.
Yeah.
And
I
it makes you
agree.
seem very average.
Yeah. 3 stars are hard,
It's bad.
especially in our world.
And they don't really take them down either. There's really, unless they're threatening or whatever.
No, because it's not technically like a bad review.
Right.
But it's like, it is a bad review.
It is a bad review. It is a bad review. We actually post in our homes in a nice way. Kind of a, hey, if we did a great job, this is what 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 sort of looks like. It's a fridge magnet, but
Right.
it's a reminder to go, these reviews mean a lot to us, that we live and die by them. So unless we're like falling down, help us out.
Well, and I think
We'll help
also,
you out too by
right.
writing you a good review.
I think some people just don't realize what a 5-star review is. It's like not telling us that we have done everything absolutely perfect, and the house is like the most
perfect thing they've ever
immaculate,
been in.
perfect, no
Right.
scratch, no dent house, and it's like you've had a dream vacation because we facilitated that for you.
Right.
it's like, that's not a 5-star. You know what I mean? And so I think there is a disconnect between guest and star reviews is because they don't really know. And I feel that like the websites, like the VRBOs, the Airbnbs, don't really do a good job of explaining that, like, hey,
literally, that's why we posted
hey,
house.
this is what a 1-star is. Here's what a 3-star looks like, and here's what a 5-star. Like the realistic reality of reviews.
Right.
And I wish there was some like teaching around from those companies, because it's like that would help so many people out.
So many people. And like you said, it goes both ways. Because honestly, when people are booking, we're looking at their reviews too.
Yeah.
So if they behave poorly or if they have some negative stuff from a property manager or anybody, we either ask them about it, don't take the booking at all, there's a pattern, whatever it is. So look, it does go both ways.
Yeah. And that was the next thing, is prevention. How do we prevent it? And, you know, the best damage strategy. And there's, of course, has to be another protocol on how do we prevent a bad guest from coming in and creating havoc. And so it's like guest vetting, and that happens through the reviews that have been left for them, you know. Or
we also speak to guests.
Right.
So we do a pretty decent job of talking to people before they come in. And we want to know why they're coming. Well, what brings you to town? What brings you to Pine Top? What brings you to Flagstaff? What brings you to the Valley? Whatever it is. And they'll tell you.
Yeah, they will.
And what's funny about it is they'll tell you all their plans. Like, oh, we're having a bachelor party for 40 people and blah, 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 blah. No, you're really not.
So nice. You're going to have such a great time.
Somewhere
not
else.
Here. Not at this house.
And then there's sometimes where it is the appropriate house. But I'm saying
right.
That's sort of how, that's the beginning of the process, to be honest, is really just understanding who you're dealing with, and in some kind of a verbal way, the best that you can. It certainly can be done on text and email, but it is better done verbally.
Yeah,
and you can really hear people's intentions.
And then also, you know, like the minimum stay requirements, that helps vet out party goers or people that are trying to throw a party.
1-night stays, no.
Right.
2-night stays on the weekend only. No.
That's a
2-night
hard
stays
one.
on the weekend only when they're local.
That's
one. A no.
Yeah, that's a no.
That's kind of a no, because it's like, oh, you must be renting this house because it has a pool and you want to make a mess somewhere besides your house.
Right.
Or what? Or, you know, we have people that want to throw a kid's birthday party and all kinds of different stuff.
I mean, I've been asked before about that. Is
course.
Like, hey, we actually do live local, but we just want to have a pool.
Yeah, we don't have a pool.
10-year-old's birthday party. Here's how many people are coming.
Right, we have 12 kids coming during the day.
And like, we have this, it's just going to be the family at night. Are you okay with that? And it's like, yeah,
sometimes
we could be okay with that.
And
we could be okay with that.
We can be okay with that.
Like, that doesn't sound destructive, but do realize that if there is damages and there is something that's gone on, there will be some costs incurred here, because that's how we roll. That's what we do. So, and they're like, oh yeah, no problem, you know, so
we'll keep a handle on it, whatever. But yeah, it's really a judgment call. And that's why talking to people makes sense, because then you hear a little bit more about that 10-year-old birthday party, because, you know, the notes might be, oh, we're having a birthday party. Doesn't explain that they're 10-year-olds, it doesn't explain enough. So that's why you pick up the phone and you're like, hey,
it's correct.
What's happening?
And then pricing, obviously, is a really good strategy for weeding out the guests that might be problem guests. And that's something that we've talked about before, is Arizona pricing in the summertime can attract guests that normally wouldn't be booking, because the price point has now dropped, and trying to make sure our price point doesn't drop too low to bring people in that are like, oh, sweet, this is a house that's kind of cheap. We could just get in here and have a great time, where we would normally not be able to get in because the price is normally $300 or $400 a night.
On the flip side, it also happens with our big luxury homes.
Yeah.
You can't get them too low either, because when you sleep 16 or 18, now we're pooling money for a house that's $700 a night. And now, you know, nobody's paying nothing practically to be there.
It's like $100 for the whole week stay. It's like, oh yeah, let's do it.
It's important that, you know, it comes on both sides. So it's like, yes, an individual 2-bedroom can get pretty inexpensive, and you could argue maybe that's a scare. But it also happens on the bigger houses too. You really have to have rate integrity.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, it can't drop it at all cost.
It is super
it's not
true.
worth it.
It's super true. And here in Arizona, noise monitors is a thing in Scottsdale.
Mhm.
Are they still enforcing the noise monitors?
Yeah, but it's more of if you have a noise monitor, what ends up happening is the property manager's notified that there's a decibel above where it should be.
Right.
Look, the police aren't getting involved in that. Like, nobody's going. The only thing that's telling you is to call them or show up and tell them to turn it down or it's too loud or message them. It's a tough one. I don't know. We do have noise monitors in a couple of houses, but we don't put them in all of our homes because it just doesn't give us enough information. A decibel being too loud, it also can be too loud for just a minute or two.
Right.
And now all of a sudden you get notified and then there's a thing. That doesn't mean there's a
Or it's
raging
the
party.
afternoon or the evening and there's kids playing outside and they're playing tag.
And maybe there is a speaker outside in the
Right.
middle of the day or whatever. So it's not, look, I don't find it to be the greatest tool.
And I think Scottsdale was trying to enforce it, right, on all the properties.
They have talked about it, but I don't think it's actually in place
Okay.
where you have to. But they're more sensitive because there's so many vacation rentals
Right.
in Scottsdale. And obviously sometimes too, most of our nightlife in the Arizona area seems to surround Scottsdale.
Right. So you book an Airbnb out there. You're going to take the nightlife
you
there.
Get some nightlife. You're
sit
in
back to the
town.
house,
Yeah,
and there's going to be mix-ins and bleed betweens. So
that's why. But it's not the greatest tool. I find it to be a better tool, maybe a Ring doorbell. Because now you
Yeah.
can kind of just see what's going on at the door and who's coming and going. And you can tell if people are loud or drunk or too many or
right. Or if they
do
were
whatever.
coming in at 2:00 in the morning, or they're sitting outside at 1:00
yeah.
having a little gathering.
I
It's
find
like,
that to be a little
hey,
bit.
I think so,
Nothing
too.
inside the house or in the backyard,
No.
but every once in a while, there's that Ring doorbell's enough to go, huh?
We need to keep an eye on this
Something's
house.
happening,
Right.
yeah.
We need to keep an eye on this house, and we need to just watch what's happening here
Right.
because there's chances and there's some
chances.
tall tale signs here that it could be a different type of stay, and we need to just keep a thumb on that, so that is helpful. Ring doorbells are super helpful.
I think it's good. And the owners then can look too.
Yeah.
And then they feel like they can look. And they feel like they have some could care less and never want to look. Look, you could also make yourself crazy by looking.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So a lot of my owners, I'm like, stay off this thing. Like, let us pay attention to it.
We'll let you know when it's time for you to come into this.
But some can't help themselves. And then they call us and go, I think there's something happening. Right. And okay, let us go figure out if something's happening. Or
Right.
I think I see a cigarette in someone's mouth. Oh, no, that's not a cigarette. That's a vape or whatever
straw
it is.
or
And
something.
they're not in the house, by the way. At that point, they're in the Ring doorbell camera.
Yeah.
So
it's true. So that's really it. Do you have
That is it.
anything else to add to bad guests? How to
No.
dispute things? How to
Just be
work through it?
gracious. Just be gracious. Be kind. Fight fire with kindness the best that you can. And don't get emotionally, again, don't try and meet their negative energy.
Yeah,
stay above it.
Yeah.
Stay above it somehow. It's worth it. It's better for your mental health as well. And then you don't get dragged down or ruin your day because that kind of stuff lingers with you.
Oh, it
That's my
absolutely
best
does.
advice.
It
That's-
absolutely does.
And
Yeah.
hire a property manager so you have somebody between you and the guest in
Well-
case there's a thing. Like, what are you going to want to deal with that?
And that's the thing is
Like, you got somebody else to deal with it if
you-
you're paying somebody.
your home is your home.
It is your home.
And it's your investment,
Mhm.
right? And that's the biggest thing. I think a really good key takeaway is that is your home. That's your investment. You've put your money into it. And so you are going to be more emotionally charged and sensitive to things going on in your home with your stuff. So having a property manager, it keeps us neutral because it's not our home. Per se, it's not our personal
No,
home.
but we care
But
about
of
it.
course,
like it's ours.
we take care of it just
Mhm.
as so, and we have a standard for it. But we're not like have memories tied to certain things where we're remembering these memories as we're having a situation that's going, and we're like, oh my god, we just don't want that one thing ruined, or we don't want this or that, and that is where I think it can spark a lot of emotions for
a homeowner.
a homeowner.
Yeah.
Is like you are more emotionally charged, whereas we can step out of it and say, okay, this is not okay, this is not okay, this is not okay. We need to fix this. We need to not let this happen. And
You
we've
need to
got
go, whatever it is.
we have our protocols where it would be harder for a homeowner to separate and make best business judgment for their business at the end of the day.
I think like you were kind of wrapping up and saying, look, I think this is the most important thing. I think for an owner, it's really important to understand that your stuff is stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Unless your house is filled with personal items or mementos or very high-end things that you have to be very worried about all the time. Look, couches are couches and lamps are lamps and stuff is stuff, and dirty can be made clean, and
Yep.
and a dog can be cleaned up after that's unauthorized, or houses can be restored even after a party where there's too much trash. So let the professionals handle that. Don't get yourself overly involved in that, because we've already promised you your house is going to be what it is.
Right.
So no one's burning your house down. None of that is going on. So as long as you can understand that your plates and dishes and couch can be replaced, we're all good. Like,
you heard her.
Keep it in
You
perspective.
Heard her. Keep it in perspective. Hire property management.
Hire management. You need somebody in between, unless you live next door.
Right.
And even still, live next door. Oh, by the way. And they don't want anything to do with it.
Right.
They don't like anyone to know that they live next door.
Yeah, because then the guests are going next door. Hey, we can't get this to work. Hey, we can't get this to work.
You don't want any of
It's
that.
like, no, like on my properties that I've had is like, I would, if I had to go into the house, pose as not even the homeowner.
Right. You're just a hospitality
helper
agent.
I am a helper to this whole thing.
Yeah.
Because I
just
don't
work
want
for the company.
I don't want to be stuck for an hour plus trying to talk about the house or how things work. Is like, cool. Nope, I'm just a helper. Sorry,
Agree.
So as we wrap up today's episode, we really do thank you guys for being here. And just remember that bad guests are not a win. It's not an if, it's a win. There we go. It's not an if, it's a win. Bad guests will happen. But have the protocols in play, have them in place, have the right mindset, have a property management team that has the things in place. So then when the things happen, you're set and prepared and you can move in a forward direction without spinning out of control.
They're good objectivity.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. Well, you guys have a beautiful,
guys.
blessed day. Thank you for coming along with us. We'll see you on the next episode. Peace out.
Peace out.
Thanks for being here on Life Well Booked. If this episode fired you up, made you think, or left you feeling inspired, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend. Until next time, keep showing up big, living with intention, and building a life that stays well booked.